Chiefs Kingdom. I'm reminded of the great words of the legendary Marty Schottenheimer today when I say there is no more time to talk. There has been an opportunity to do. That is what we have on our hands here. Welcome to Kingdom Kickoff. We've been leading you down this path all year, and Rich Baldinger, Shaggy Shane Williams, Noah Groniger, it has led us to the battle for the soul of the American Football Conference. It's time to get this thing done after 8 long days of speculation and talk. Here we are. Rich Baldinger, how's it going, my friend?
Simply incredible, hosting our 5th AFC championship, where I think the first 60 years of the Chiefs organization, and I was part of that. We never had a chance to host anything. So an amazing thing that the Kansas City Chiefs have done. It's just simply like those jets in the flyover. It just goes past you, and it's something you just try to hold on to. But today, what a special day that it is, right? I've got my Grateful Dead Steal Your Face shirt on, and the words behind this album were simply this, guys. Jerry Garcia wrote about this because he said, I wanted my music to steal your mind and your face. Well, Patrick's going to be conducting the choir today. And I promise you, Joe Burrow will be burrowing in the ground, as the definition of burrow is, because he is going to lose his face to Patrick today at One Arrowhead Drive.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Way to bring it, Rich. And Rich, don't sell yourself short. You played at the first Arrowhead playoff game in December of 1991, which I was there watching you plow over Raiders defenders, getting Barry Ward to rush for over 130 yards. So don't sell yourself short for that. You've never played in no epic games at Arrowhead, because you, my friend, have. This is going to be a fun game. We're sitting here. We're excited about our 5th straight time at Arrowhead Stadium. Noah and Gray will be in Tempe, Arizona, or Phoenix, Arizona, or wherever the stadium is, Arizona, next week, or on Radio Row bringing it. So we are ready for this Chiefs game. What do you got, Noah Groniger?
Well, I've got kind of what you guys are talking about here, just conference championship games, the most consecutive. We've got Brady and Belichick at 8, Mahomes and Reed right on their tail already at 5, and of course Stabler and Madden at 5 as well. And I mean, we talk about conference championship touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes could pass the legendary Joe Montana in his young career already with just 2 touchdowns in this conference championship game. Hopefully he has a lot more than that, but he's still trying to catch up with Tom Brady. And in his career, where does he rank? I mean, he's already 5 for 5 in years he started. Peyton Manning was 5 in 17 years. Aaron Rodgers 5 in 18. We're still trying to catch Tom Brady there. 14 and 23 seasons of conference championship games. But guys, we are ready to roll. This is the AFC Championship. We've got players out here. Our own players are kind of mocking it now. The Bengals are calling it Burrowhead instead of Arrowhead. Rich, have you ever seen such disrespect?
Yes, I have. I mean, played many games against the Raiders and going out to California. It's amazing what they would do. So that's okay. That's fine. Just like Marty said, they can say all the words you want. But in a short time, when the balloons go up, words go up like balloons and hits come at you like rockets. So I'm waiting for the Chiefs. This is going to be a rumble. It's going to be a fisticuffs. I give maybe about 1 series in, and there might be a little bit of brawling action on that field today. I suspect there is haven't been able to do a lot of contact in practice, but these guys are going to bring it today. And this is the thing about personal pride today. Talking about losing 3 in a row, that's okay. Keep talking. I'm coming at you with everything.
Hey, Rich, I got a question. You know, when Marty Schottenheimer turned the franchise around in 1989 and you guys were building that confidence, you were moved from left guard to right tackle. So there was a lot of change. There was some influx moving around with the team. But most of all, it was mental, because the Chiefs were coming off, they're playing so many years of bad football. Was it ever in your head that an opponent was coming to Arrowhead and you felt, or maybe other teammates felt, you don't need to mention their names, that I don't know if we can beat this team? You know, I know we're going to have 70,000 fans at our back, but it got so in your head that you felt that it was mental, that you couldn't beat the team because you never did. Was there any chance of that throughout your career representing the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think John Elway might have had a few of those games in the past. You know what, guys say? I never thought about that. The one thing Marty always said, and I followed from the moment he came here, is he said, If you don't learn how to play smart from the start of practice till the day of the game, it doesn't really matter, because nothing will matter, because nothing will work right. And I focused always on that. So whatever the records were in the past, it didn't matter, because everything changes from day to day. And unless you're playing smart and your focus is on what you're doing, you're going to have another losing outing. So he goes, that's where your mind needs to be. And I tried to do that as much as possible. And believe me, from Friday on, I never talked very much to anybody anyway. So my mind was already wheeling when you had guys like Howie Long ready to come after you. So it's what the Chiefs need to do today. Everyone's going to talk about this, haven't beaten them, close scores. It's because the Chiefs haven't played smart in key moments. That's what's cost them in these games.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about it right there. They haven't played smart. They're 0-3 versus the Bengals in these last kind of set of games. And this is what happened on December 4th. They lost 27-24. And you see right there that Samaje Perine, they're going to have Joe Mixon back as well, but Samaje Perine, 21 carries, 106 yards. Pacheco, 4.7 yards a carry, didn't get that many opportunities. You got McKinnon in there. 22 carries altogether, though. That's not too bad. And then in receiving, we didn't have Jerick McKinnon in the receiving game yet. You don't see McCole Hardman on there in our receiving stats. You don't see Kadarius Toney in there. Juju Smith-Schuster with only 3 for 35. Kelsey only 4 for 56. So I'm looking for a lot of new wrinkles, a lot of things that the Bengals didn't see in that last matchup that could give them some fits, right, Rich?
Oh, I believe that. I think the one thing that you've seen with Andy Reid here and going through the end of the season in the playoffs, I talk about is personnel changes and putting in different positions. You know, that's the thing about the Chiefs that makes them so effective. And with Toney here now, we've had him at running back. We've had McKinnon in the slot. So many different ways of attacking a defense I think Cincinnati hadn't seen in that last game. So this is something you're going to use to your advantage today, and you're going to have to, because in the passing game, it's going to be a short, quick. I don't think we're going to keep Patrick in the pocket. If we are, we're going to roll him quickly, give him a high-low read, get the ball in his hands. You just don't want to take a chance of anything on that ankle. And with Fredrickson and Hubbard on the edges, two of the best pass-rushing defensive ends, and they've given us fits. I do not want Orlando Brown one-on-one on the outside for a long time. We saw what happened last week against Jacksonville, and quarterback almost got careered. So look for this ball to be out quick, utilizing personnel in as many different shifts and motions and formations to create the mismatch today.
Well, Rich, one thing that we're looking at here is that the Chiefs defense has so sparingly been able to get to Joe Burrow and put him on the ground. That has been sort of the bugaboo here when you look at these 3 losses. Chris Jones still looking for his first postseason sack. We saw the Buffalo Bills get manhandled by a patchwork Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. They're without a couple starters again today. So for the Chiefs defensively, we've seen this young rookie secondary grow all season long. They're going to be matched up against these tough Bengals receivers. We know what this is. These guys know the challenge ahead of them. But to me, Rich, we talked about it on our Arrowhead LA show on Monday. It's about what the Chiefs defense could do up front, whether it be Frank Clark, Chris Jones. The guys up front could decide this game for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, there's nobody better than Joe Burrow right now in the pocket. I mean, he reminds me in this sense what Tom Brady was so good at. Tom Brady, not the athlete. We know he's slower than molasses, but he's so efficient in moving his feet and sidestepping pass rushers. You watch Joe Burrow, and it's like a point guard in basketball. He's able to just take a quick little step to left, to right, keep his feet underneath him. He protects the football well. So I'm going to go back to one of the Marty rules is when you get a quarterback like this, first man to him, you do not get the sack. Second man to him, you do not get the sack. Third man to him, you get to blow up the quarterback. And that's what you need to do against Burrow. You just need to get your hands on him. Don't try to tackle him. Just hold him up because the third guy's going to have the fun shot. That's how you beat a guy like Joe Burrow up there. And I think today, with some of the issues they have up front, and I'll talk about it later, but the one thing when you watch, especially a left tackle for them, he's not very good in movement and speed. He's a muscle guy. So let's use some quickness and agility. Give these guys on the outside two-way streets. I think we can have a good afternoon.
Looking at the Chiefs cornerbacks this season, they, like Clint alluded to, they have grown and they have come into their own, and they're getting all the playing time. I mean, we traded Rashad Fenton. We let go of Chris Lamons, who was ironically picked up by Cincinnati. But they are sticking with these rookies and going up against the 3-headed wide receiver monster the Cincinnati Bengals throw out on the field as well. They're great wide receivers. What I've noticed where Jalen Watson succeeded last week in making a sensational one-handed interception is that he turned around. He turned around and spotted the ball and went up and grabbed it one-handed. As fans, when we watch the game where it seems like the Chiefs cornerbacks or other cornerbacks in the league where they make mistakes is the cornerbacks don't turn their head around, and it either evolves in a pass interference or they just didn't make the play. And when you look back on replay, say, man, if that corner just turned his head around, what does it take for these cornerbacks, especially these rookie cornerbacks, to where they get to a point where they feel comfortable to able to turn around and look for the ball? What does that take, Rich?
Well, I think it's all parts back to what I said in the opening statements about playing smart. As a cornerback, it's finding the football. It's the first thing you have to do is find the football. You don't worry about anything else. It's find the football. Now you can get on the path with the receiver. You can make a play on the ball. Offensive lineman, it's finding your spot where you're going to put your hands. You watch Cincinnati, a lot of these guys, they don't find their spot. Their heads move like bobble dolls when you watch them on the All-22, and that's how you can beat them. So for the Kansas City Chiefs secondary, it's find the football. Once you do that, now you can play a physical game with the receivers. You can lean on them. You can grab them a little bit. And we all know the officials are going to let them play today. But it's the cardinal rule. Number one, find the football. But you only do that when you know you're playing smart. So don't think about anything but what your technique tells you to do. You'll play good. And they have. The secondary has. And today, the key is just keep everything in front of you, guys. They're going to make their big plays. As long as you keep it in front, you got a chance to make a tackle, maybe get a strip or play. Gets behind you, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Yeah, and we've got Mahomes, Burrow 4 here. You've got Dan Orlovsky out there saying that Burrow is a machine. He's the next thing like Tom Brady, and he's the better quarterback. Mahomes is the better player, but when it comes to quarterbacking, it's Joe Burrow. And just this whole thing that he's a machine back there in that pocket and he gets rid of the ball quick. There's nothing. It kind of reminds me of Rocky IV. And maybe they're equating Joe Burrow to this Russian Ivan Drago, who is a machine. And we just got to go to the videotape for this.
Cut it! You're hurting! You see? He's not a machine! He's a man!
Nieprawda. Żelazo.
Doing more than he does. No pain! No pain! All your strength, all your power, all your love, everything you've got. When you gotta knock him out, you gotta punch. You can't punch no more. This is the whole life here. Okay, take it to him.
And to me, that signifies a 60-minute ball game. The Chiefs have fallen short, let their foot off the gas in these second halves and fourth quarters, and they need to play a 60-minute ball game, foot on the pedal, and just press it down all the way to the floorboard and keep this thing going all 60 minutes to keep the pressure on Joe Burrow in that offense.
Joe Burrow resembles Dolph Lundgren and Ivan Drago in that film more than I had thought about. It was always Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone to me, but Joe Burrow, we know it, guys. He's a stone cold killer. He's done it, but what he hasn't done is he hasn't gone and won a Super Bowl like Patrick Mahomes and this organization has. And to me, there's a lot at stake here. Maybe the most at stake that we've seen in any of these 5 AFC Championship games. When it all started in 2019, the Chiefs were the new kid on the block, just trying to get there and make a name. In year 2, they had a 7 seed, the Tennessee Titans in. They got it, they got by, and they got to the Niners, and they won that Super Bowl. Here, to me, Rich Baldinger, this is a battle for the soul of the American Football Conference, because from here on out, if the Bengals go 4-0 and Joe Burrow emerges victorious, this is the team. They're the kings of the AFC, and it will all go through them going forward. Mahomes and the Chiefs can reclaim that throne today, and they can set and return to being the gold standard that they've been for the last 4 years.
Yeah, and you know what? And we could talk a lot of things. We're going to talk about the past and everything, but where this game is always won is in the trenches. And if you win at the line of scrimmage, most likely you're going to be successful. Now, I know Joe Burrow's, he's shown a lot. There's no question about it. He's got the ability. He digests these defenses so quickly. His pre-snap read, post-snap read, efficiency within the pocket, accuracy, put it all together. But, I always know one thing. When you're getting hit every play, all those things don't matter. And Marty always said, just keep hitting them. They'll keep hitting them. And just, you know what? Things just don't work out anymore. And that's what we got to do today. We're going to take some chances with some blitzes, but we wrap this guy up and we hit him and you beat on him. You know what? That baby face, I'm going to see some tears coming out of those eyes after today's game as he walks out of one Arrowhead Drive. Because believe me, folks, Chris Jones understands what it takes to play this game. And I think today you'll see that out there on the field.
Well, we know Spags loves to bring Snead off the edge. We've seen McDuffie come off the edge, but the Bengals have just as dangerous of a blitzer and edge rush guy that they bring off, and that is their nickel corner, Mike Hilton, and he can be just as good as L'Jarius Snead is at that. So, Rich, what do they have to do to keep an eye out for that and locate number 21? He's the one I think that coined Burrowhead, by the way. So
He does.
Well, and I think it's all part of just protection first. It's always going to be keep Patrick on his feet. So whether you're going to start with 6, you're going to start with 7, get people out, whatever it is, you're going to move Patrick. It's keeping him on his feet no matter what. Even if, hey, you got to throw it out of bounds, punt the ball, but keep Patrick healthy. We all know that's the difference in this game. So wherever it is, the one thing you have to know about Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, is this: expect the unexpected, even when you don't expect it, if that makes any sense. I think there's a few expecteds in there. But anyways, you just know what's going to come. Pressure's going to come from somewhere. So whatever your responsibilities are, if it's inside to outside, outside in, safety to corner, slide protection, your eyeballs have to go to where they need to go. You do not play smart today and try to cheat. Yes, the Bengals will beat you with the pressure today.
The fact that the defensive coordinator now has to also scheme, because when we played them on December 4th or 5th, they did not have the Chiefs did not have Joe Tooney, Cole Hardman, or Kadarius Toney. So I think that opens up a lot more possibilities for the Chiefs offense going into this game. What do you think, Rich?
Oh, I think where we are with the Chiefs in terms of, you know, the one thing we look at this offense, the difference when you don't have a Tyreek is when we've been successful on drives during the game, and sometimes we get a little wonky, a little too much passing, but when we stay balanced, it's pretty much impossible to stop this offense. And that's what you're going to see today, is everybody having a chance to touch that ball in a different position, in a different way. Listen, the one thing about Cincinnati's defense, especially those linebacker positions, Wilson, the other guy, Pratt, 58, is they will run and they flat out fly. So maybe some misdirection today. You might find that some jet sweeps, reverses, quick pitches. We saw the quick pitch down there in the red zone. So by the Chiefs. So I think there's a lot of ways you can attack this. Speed on the defense. And yeah, they're going to make some plays because they constantly change things up. They might bracket you. They might play inside shade. Linebackers might take inside. That's okay. As long as Patrick gets some time and the way that we can maneuver the ball different people, I think we take advantage.
Yeah, you've seen them with that kind of option and quick pitch out. That's kind of what you were talking about there, Rich. We have a comment here. Hey, did Noah upgrade his background? Rich, take notes. Go Chiefs.
Folks, in a game like today, it doesn't matter what's on the wall. The words, it doesn't matter. When I open up the door, the game's going to begin, and that's all that matters. The monster comes out of the room at that point. And believe me, I've been up since 04:30 today, ready to go for this one. The one thing you learn as a former player, you might not be able to run anymore. You don't have any quickness, but the one thing is your mind never shuts down. And believe me, I've been waiting for this one. This is why I hate, this is sort of like a night game for me. Why can't we play at 10 o'clock in the morning and let's get this thing going, you know?
Let's get this thing going is right. But Rich, have you dealt with back spasms? Do you know anything about that? They said Travis Kelce was dealing with back spasms at kind of the tail end of this week of practice, Thursday, Friday, but they say he's going to be good to go. What do you make of this and Travis Kelce's availability for today?
Very good for Chiefs using disinformation out there in the public mind today. Getting people scared about what's happening. You think Kelsey's not going to show up out there in that field today? Back spasms. The guy's too good of an athlete to get back spasms. Back spasms are for fat old people like me when you get up too quick for a cup of coffee or something, you know? I mean, no, he will be out there. And the thing is, you know, that's the key. When you have a player, and I just watching the all 22 of him from the game last week and 14 catches. What's simply amazing about him, and Tony Gonzalez had the hands of glue, but what Kelce is so different to me is you'll put him against the best athlete on defense, and you're thinking agility-wise, they should be able to just dance with Kelsey. Kelsey just shakes people. It's simply amazing to me how a man that big can do that. So today, even if they bracket him, even if they got to double him, triple team him, the way we're moving the ball to everyone, I think we take advantage of that.
Excellent.
We had a question. Oh, we had a question here about the officiating crew, and that someone had said they believe that this is the ref that we do not like today. It is not Carl Sheffers,
I believe.
Ron Torbert, who actually there is some concern with that, guys. Rich, you talked about letting him play, but this officiating crew was the sub crew or the sub head ref for the Chiefs' first game against Cincinnati last season, which resulted in multiple egregious holdings and pass interferences, which allowed Cincinnati to go down the field and take the air out of the ball to kick a game-winning field goal. They didn't even have to go win that game because of the calls there, but that's not what this is about. The officiating crews, if it's Carl Sheffers in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, guys, it is what it is. You go and you play the game and you go win the game. Rich, would you agree that whatever officiating crews out there, it matters not, it's an afterthought, or is this something that actually you guys would think about when you got certain guys in there?
Yeah, absolutely not. I always try to give these guys a Christmas bonus out there in the field, a little white envelope, but it never worked good for me in terms of not getting holding calls. So, you just go out there and play the game. Listen, guys, it all evens out in the long run. I know it's frustrating. They're trying to follow what the rules are set by the NFL. We know this thing about protecting quarterbacks. It rides like a roller coaster. 1 week, they simply let anything happen. The next week, you breathe on somebody, and they're going to hang you from the yard arm. So it's something you just deal with. You got to go play the game. You don't ever think about it because the first time you say something, some officials got a great personality. Other ones you say something to, they want to stab you in the back. So go on, let the men in the striped jerseys do your game. You got enough to worry about on the field today with the athletes, and you got to give credit to Cincinnati. I mean, these three receivers in Boyd, Higgins, and Chase are number one receivers on any team. They got three of them lined up there, so it's a nightmare. So to focus on anything but them and what they can do to you, it's just a waste of your time.
When you look at Serge Pirine and Joe Mixon, when you go back to that game on December 5th, Joe Mixon was inactive with an injury, but the Bengals in the entire game only punted the football once. The Chiefs stopped them on 4th and goal at the 4 in the second quarter, so that was an only stop. They were able to keep drives alive with Pirine not only getting great carries, but being so good out of the backfield, which brings to my question, how important are the Chiefs linebackers going to be today watching those cats coming out of the backfield?
Oh, without a doubt. And they're just like the Kansas City Chiefs. Those running backs and Mixon, remember him in that AFC Championship game last year in the overtime. I think he had, 5 rushes for about 30 yards and allowed them to get down the field. So, it begins up front. You want to try to make this one-dimensional as much as possible, as soon as possible, win on first down. So then, now your linebackers are able to drop a little bit deeper. But, you're going to have to keep eyes on them. Mixing out of the backfield is dangerous. He's strong. He's a powerful runner. Pirine, same too. So 2 good athletes back there. But this is where it's all about you win up front. And the front 4 guys have got to get it done. You think you're going to play a heavy box every time against these guys, Cincinnati. They're going over the top with some home run balls. So challenge today for the defensive line up front to get it done.
Yeah, and you said we're going to talk about that defensive line later. I think now is a good time, and let's get into your keys for the game. No Jonah Williams for the Bengals, no Alex Papa for the Bengals on that offensive line. They did it against Buffalo in the snow. We'll see if they can do it here in Arrowhead in the freezing, frigid temperatures, and let's get to your keys to victory, Rich.
Yeah, I just want to begin when the Chiefs had the ball. Let's target our running backs. We talked about McKinnon. He wasn't involved. They didn't focus to him, and now he's going to be in part of this game. We've seen what he can do in terms of flare routes, angle routes. But today, I think the slip route will be one where out of the backfield, it looks like you're chipping. It looks like you're helping your tackle. Then just get vertical. I think we get these linebackers and mismatches. It could be a big afternoon. So it also protects Patrick. It doesn't put the pressure on him, and it forces that defense to play sideline to sideline. They want to play speed. Let's go ahead and match up with some of our best athletes on this team. And Tony can be one of those guys. That's the thing. We can put people in so many positions, up in the slot, out of the backfield. It makes it for a long afternoon. When the Bengals have the ball, guys, let me tell you something. D-line, I've talked about them. You got to use movement against these guys. You cannot play base. That's where they're effective in all their zone blocking. Move them, slant, angle, charge, pass rush, two-way streak for our edge rushers. These guys are not good when it comes to matching your athleticism. We get people in the gaps. We will be able to get penetration. We'll be able to shut down that running game and put it in second long and third long where you have chances to make a play. And then the last one, guys, you know what I'm talking about. Special teams. Last week, 2 returns almost proved costly for the Kansas City Chiefs because we did not get to where we need to be on kickoff coverage. Out of our lanes, getting blocked, not seeing what the return guy, where he's looking, where the blocking was developed. Special teams has been kind of this issue. I've never seen David Tobe have this many issues in 1 year. So today, against a team like Cincinnati, you give them a shortened field, that's the difference in the game. Let's try to do something. Let's get something out of special teams today that proves to be a winning factor in this game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, guys, it is in fact prediction time here on Kingdom Kickoff as we have people already out at Arrowhead Stadium that are watching, that are in the stream. We thank you guys so much. Noah and I are heading out there here in just a few moments. Shane, I just have this general feeling that we need to start with you to set the tone. Shane, how's it going to go?
I think the Chiefs are finally going to get it off their back because now it's personal. You know, when you look at the first 3 games against Cincinnati, you know, the only reason they came back last year in the second half was the Chiefs were, you know, they got confused. And Patrick Mahomes, he got lost mentally for the Tyreek Hill thing before the end of the first half and never got over it. Now it's personal. As Noah put out in his Starcade video that I can only watch twice because it moves me to tears so much. It's so extremely moving, but it's true. It's damn true. What happened here is we have to defend our home. This is Arrowhead. It became personal when they started calling it Burrowhead. It is personal now. Chris Jones does not end his press conference on Friday by saying, I'll see you at Burrowhead this Sunday. He does not. You do not hear Chris Jones say that to the media and to the world if he's not feeling it. The Chiefs locker room feels it. The Chiefs kingdom feels it. I got the Chiefs winning today, 31-23. What say you, Noah?
Yeah, funny that you go to me here because on Monday I predicted a Bengals victory. I was scared. I said for the first time since Mahomes has been our quarterback, I'm scared. I'm afraid. But as this week's gone on and Patrick's ankle's gotten better, I mean, and we've heard the good news about Travis Kelce when some people were speculating, oh no, back spasm, he's questionable. They bring this out on Friday. Is he going to play? He's going to play. Of course, he's a gamer. He's going to go out there. Like Rich said, maybe that's just a smoke screen, just something they threw out there for the Bengals to kind of think about. And I've never done this before. My pick on Arrowhead Allies is the pick that I bring to this very show. But not so fast, my friends. I've got Chiefs 31, Bengals 27. We get off the schneid just as Rocky did to the Rush, and he's not a machine. He's a man. Joe Burrow is just a man. He's not Tom Brady. He's not the best quarterback at quarterbacking in this league. Mahomes is the best player. He is the best quarterback. Chiefs win this game and head to Super Bowl 57 in Arizona. Clint.
Well, Rich, you're wearing a Grateful Dead shirt today, so I'm going to use a quote from the great Jerry Garcia, who once said, "There is a road, no simple highway between the dawn and the dark of night." Guys, legacy is not defined but by what happened before. It's defined by what happens after, where you go next. And for the Kansas City Chiefs, that day is today. That day of rectification is today. The Kansas City Chiefs have had time to look back at this, to learn from this, to know what's at stake here today, which, like I said, this is the biggest AFC Championship game to me of them all, of the 5. And the Chiefs get it done today. It's 30-27. And Glendale, Arizona, I'll tell you one thing. In 2 weeks, hell is coming with us to the Super Bowl with Starcade Media in 2 weeks. Rich Baldinger.
Well, it's going to be tough to top what I've heard here from my 3 partners in the podcast, but simply as this, guys. And Jerry Garcia also said, you make your path in life. There might be some times when you fall off that path, but you get back onto that golden road. Today is the day they get back on the golden road. And I know one thing, there'll come a time in your life when you got to fight the bully. You got to get out there, you got to slug, you got to do whatever you got to do. Scratch, fight, claw. It doesn't matter. There's no rules today in this game. So don't worry about the officials. It's let it happen. Patrick Mahomes understands that. We've got leadership on this team. And the one thing we have is we got guys. And I'm going to tell you what, there was one play I want to bring up from the Jacksonville game. I don't know if you remember McKinnon in pass protection, almost knocking out people. Folks, that's the tempo you're going to see today. I love it. Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to take 31-21 in this game. I think it's not as close as they say in the score. It's going to be a beatdown, and that's the way I like to finish today.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
guys,
do it.
get your hand warmers, get your foot warmers, get your favorite adult beverage, head to Arrowhead Stadium because, guys, as we talked about before, the show went on the air, Shane, these moments are fleeting. You have to live in this moment. 5 straight AFC Championship games at home at Arrowhead Stadium is something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. I never thought I would see a Super Bowl appearance in my lifetime, let alone a victory. These are the golden days. Like Andy Bernard said in The Office, I wish we knew we were living in the good old days when they were still going on. They're still going on right now. It's been a true pleasure being with all of you through this season on Kingdom Kickoff, and we hope everybody enjoys it today, 5:30 p.m. Central. The time is coming. There is no time to talk. There has been an opportunity to do. We will see you guys next time.
Go Chiefs!
This is a legacy game. Go Chiefs!